Welcome to Reread. We're on book 4, The Bacta War. This is the end of the first story arc, I should say. There is a lot going on here and a lot to talk about. First off, Corin meets Booster Tarek. Great scene. I love Booster. This is really the only time he gets to shine. He gets some scenes and appearances in other books down the road, but I think The Bacta War is where we really get to know Booster the best, and he is so much fun to read. Such a fun character. Sixtus is in this from the comic book, and maybe I had just forgotten that. He does have a little cameo in here. I say cameo. This was his first appearance, and then later on he was brought out in the comic book. But it was good to see him in this. Again, I'd just forgotten he was in it. Jace is alive, and that's why I was so confused at first when they said he died. I was like, really? I think I remember him lasting a lot longer. I remember saying that, and I thought I had it wrong. But yeah, he comes back. They give a reason why he faked his death, and it doesn't make that much sense. I mean, I understand what he was saying, but it didn't really make sense why all of a sudden he comes back just to be a minor character. He becomes a minor character once again. He's not big in the story arc. He just goes back to being just one of the rogues and barely mentioned after his return. So it's really confusing if Stackpole didn't have an idea of what he wanted to do with him or whatnot. I don't know, but he brought him back, said he faked his death, gave a kind of stupid reason, and then didn't utilize the character for the rest of the book, which I found strange. Voru is now working for Asard. He and Asiri are eventually going to mutiny. They plan to mutiny from Asard because she's kind of going insane. She's being obsessed with Rogue Squadron, and she's losing her grip on control of everything. And so they're planning their eventual escape from her. But during the final battle, Voru is going to be stunned. He thinks he's going to die, but he gets stunned, and which is a funny little scene. And so he may make a deal with the Republic because he has a list of blackmail that the Republic will not want out. So it looks like he's going to get out anyway. But his fate is not revealed about what's going to happen to him going forward at the end of this book. Gavin Darklighter has a nice scene in this one. His X-Wing has a Krayt dragon painted on it, which is pretty cool. But he has like 1 or 2 chapters where he's kind of the star, and then he gets kind of ignored. Not ignored, but he takes a back row seat, which is fine, I guess. Man, they work with Talon Card here, making some trades with everyone. During this, there is a great scene where Booster discovers that Card has someone on his team who's called Melina, and there's the heater again. But anyway, Melina turns out to be a traitor. Card knows it. He just needed some more proof. He's got it. He's going to kill her immediately. They're talking about shooting her out of an airlock, doing all these other things, but she has to die. One of them is, I have a Wookiee on board. And Booster's like, nah, because we need armpits. Armpits are very helpful for carrying away dead bodies, which I thought was really funny. But they're going to use her as a double agent, as an unknowing double agent, because she's reporting to Asard, and they want to use her for a trap. But they have to wheel and deal with Talon Card to keep her alive, because Card's like, she's got to die. This is bad for business that I have a spy. She has to die. Okay, that bought you 3 months. And they go, we need her alive for 6 months. He went, nope. And then they make another deal. It's like, you just bought her for 1 more month. You bought 1 more month of her life, but she is going to die. And he goes, and Booster goes, you said I get to decide how she dies. And Card goes, yeah, but not of old age. That's not one of the choices. She has to die. It's really hilarious. It's a great scene. There's a lot of good stuff in here. Captain Yonka is serving Asard. It talks about why he decided out of everyone to serve her, and why now he's having second thoughts, like she is not the one. Like he's really not happy she lost Coruscant, or what she did with the virus and everything. It seemed, kind of bitter and childish and, petty, and he just doesn't like her leadership. Well, Captain Antilles, Wedge comes and makes him an offer he can't refuse. So he ends up leaving her, and later on comes into the final battle in a great way too. It's really good. Captain Yonka is a character I had forgotten about, and he is written very well. And he's just introduced in this last book. He is not mentioned throughout any of the books beforehand, but he's a very interesting character. Anyway, Captain Dryso is someone who's kind of in charge of Lusanka. When Asard is barely in this when the big battle happens, she takes off, in an escape pod, tells the whole crew to, escape, retreat, or whatnot. And Captain Dryso is kind of you know, kind of like Moff Tarkin, he believes, no, we're going to win this. What do you mean? We're a super Star Destroyer. We're not going to lose this ragtag group of people. And, of course, there's a much bigger trap headed on the way when he finds out Captain Dryso has promoted himself to Admiral, then Grand Admiral. He keeps making up things. And he's like, we'll never surrender you. We'll never. And then suddenly the comm goes silent. And then someone else comes on the comm link and goes, this is acting Captain whatever, Wanoso. We surrender. So I guess they killed Captain Dryso because he did not. His statements do not reflect that of the rest of the crew. So they went ahead and readily surrendered because they knew the Star Destroyer would be blown up if they didn't. Now there's another... Corrin kills Asiri in a dogfight, which is what you knew would happen. And then Tycho and Corrin team up in a way to kill Asard. Now, obviously, as you know, Asard's not dead. Reading this, I did not think she was dead either. I said, that seems like a lame death for her. I went, I bet she's still alive. It didn't even fool me. It didn't even fool me. And, you know, usually, should he have killed her? Yes. But because the X-Wing books had gotten so popular, I guarantee you he changed his idea and said, oh, if I can write more books, then I'll bring her back for another one later on, which of course he does. So even though they assume she's dead, you know she's not. I even think someone reading this for the first time would not be fooled by that. I would say so. Anyway, Orel is promoted to referring to himself as I now, because his people are so happy with his wins and legendary stories with Rogue Squadron, he can now refer to himself as I and not as third person now. Card and Booster negotiate with Kraken over getting a Star Destroyer, and holy crow, I remember reading this the last time. I enjoyed it just as much, if not more this time. It is so good. Like I said, Booster and Card in this, when they're dealing with each other and then when they're dealing with Kraken over a Star Destroyer, and Booster, some of the jokes he's making, you know, because he's not making jokes. He's saying, no, my Star Destroyer, nope, I'm keeping it. I don't care what you want. You can give me 1 billion credits. Okay, then I'm keeping it. Okay, I'll give you $500 million credit. I mean, it's so funny. It is so good. Of course, Corrin and Merax have gotten engaged during this adventure. They get married at the end, and Booster is so mad at Wedge's after party where he says he's going to marry them off, and Booster gets so mad, and Corrin's like, oh, it's because of my dad, right? It's because I was part of Corsac. You need to get over yourself, Booster. He went, no, it's not that. He said, Card bet me $1 million that you do this. And I said, there's no way. I love it. I love it. Stackpole's writing here is amazing. It is so good. Overall, the first 4 books of X-Wing Rogue Squadron series are excellent. There is nothing really that annoyed me about Corrin here. I am really trying to not think about Corrin, how he's written later on, but how he is right now as a character. I know a ton of people love him, and I understand why. I just can't get over it's a bias of what I know he's going to turn into and what I know I hate of him, even though I am interested in rereading I, Jedi. But regardless of my feelings for Corrin Horn, I will say this. Michael Stackpole's first 4 books in the X-Wing Rogue Squadron series is excellent. It is excellent. Honestly, some of the best stuff written in the expanded universe and some of the best stuff to come out of the Bantam era. Even though, in my opinion, a lot of good stuff came out of the Bantam era. All right, folks, that's it for now, but I'll see you next time.